I think what I'll do after this video is we'll probably do some sort of demonstration on a piece of equipment or something, or maybe checking your sound levels or something like that. But in the meantime, I just want to run past you something to think about, and that is, what does it cost to be a DJ? Now, a lot of you seem to think that there's somebody out there who's undercutting you when you're giving a quote. And in the past I used to get really wound up about this, but now I'm actually more inclined to think that it's their loss, because if they are undercutting you, then there's a high chance they're not making a profit, which means to say they may not be able to continue doing what they're doing. The other thing as well is that you have to think about, because they're low cut, you might want to think about the sort of equipment that they're using, the sort of DJ that they are, and the way in which, and the equipment that they bring with them. Which I would hazard a guess that if they are undercutting you, then definitely the equipment is probably not to the standard of what you're at. So let's take a good old car scenario. Brian S. Red mentioned this, and I come from a car sales background, and it's quite easy for me to create this sort of analogy. When you're booking a DJ, it's better to think about the fact that what you are buying is a used car with a chauffeur. Yeah, bear with me. Okay, first of all, you'll get your price, but it's not like looking on the internet and picking up a Camaro or a BMW or something like that, because the problem is that you don't know what you're actually getting. Are you getting a BMW? Are you getting a Toyota? Are you getting a Kia? And that's what the problem is. So you actually don't know what car you're buying. The other thing as well is that you don't know how old it is. So it could be from 2009, it could be from 2010, or it could be from 1990. So what would you rather have? A Kia from 2010 or a BMW from 1989? And then lastly, as I said, you're buying this used car with X amount of miles on, X amount of age that you have absolutely no idea of, and it comes with a chauffeur, and you don't know whether that chauffeur can drive or not. So bear that in mind. You might want to use that analogy when explaining to your customers about why your price is how it is. And of course the other thing to bear in mind is, and this is a real beauty to get clients thinking, and this last one is the chauffeur insured? So here's how you might want to gauge your pricing in the future. Speak to local event companies and ask them, or explain to them, that you want to do a gig for however amount of people, let's say 120 people. You want various amount of lights, you want some CDJs, you need a 4-channel DJ mixer, you need a good microphone, you need some good lighting, and find out how much it costs. It's one of the ways that I started out in this business before I got my own kit, and let me just tell you that you need to part with approximately €200. That's just to hire the kit. They won't bring it, they won't build it up. If you want that happening, then you're going to have to add another €100 to it. If it's €100, think about $100, okay? Because what you lose in the exchange rate, you're going to be gaining in tax, okay? So it works out to be about the same. €100 is $100 in this case. So if you want to hire some kit, it's going to cost you about $200, €200, probably 200 quid. Then the next thing you need to think about is insurance. because they're not going to be too happy if somebody's broken it, so you need to get yourself some insurance. So you have to consider that. You also then have to consider about your car, but of course the petrol and the wear and tear of the car also needs to be paid for as well. So really what you need to do is add on approximately another €100, providing that you're within 50 kilometers. Where else can we be? What's 50 kilometers? I have no idea. 30 miles? So as long as you're within 30 miles of where you are, the gig is within 30 miles of where you are, or 50 kilometers, then add another €100 on top. So you get there, you've done nothing, you've just hired your kit, but you're at the venue, and you're at €300 or $300 before you've started. My advice is that you look at taking around about €50 an hour. So you bear that in mind when you are building up, packing away, and although you say you don't charge the customer, it is included in the price. It has to be included in your price because you are working. Joe Bloggs, when he goes into work, he's there for 8 hours, or he's supposed to work for 8 hours a day, and he doesn't think about the fact that, well, just because he's not really working, because he's not talking on the telephone or he's not tapping keys on a keyboard, that, oh, well, he shouldn't really charge as much as what he should do. So if we have a gig that runs for 5 hours, so that's 250, if I'm not mistaken, and you then have 2 hours sound check, 350, and to pack up 400, plus your 300 costs, okay, then really what we should be charging is around €700, $700 per gig. If you're not charging $700 or €700 for a gig, then the chances are you're losing money. You will not be able to replace your gear eventually when it breaks. You will not be able to pay your insurances. You will not be able to maintain your car, and your business will fall apart. Your reputation will go down, and eventually you'll have to stop. But someone new comes along with their cut down prices, with their brand new kit, and 3 years later they give it up as well because they picked the wrong price. So there you have it. Something for you to chew on, something for you to comment on, and something, just lastly, to really consider about why it needs to be at least $700. And here's the biggie. You have a house and you have food to put on your table. So you can cover all the stuff that you need to make your business work, but you also have to take into consideration the fact that you need to live.